Okay, we're all set now. We're going to jump in, find the match. Here we go. No, I don't want to join it. We're just waiting for Lorenzo, Mr. Creek, to jump into the match. Okay, he's set. And we're in. So this is Lorenzo Somma at the top of the screen against Bob Debonise at the bottom. It's on a slight 3-minute delay just so that the people can't see. We'll introduce a new chat box here as well, just on the bottom right hand corner, so keep in mind because of the 3-minute delay it'll take me 3 minutes to respond to any messages. I'll just give you an example. So there, it's a new innovation that we're trialing here to get a floating chat going if anyone wants to jump in. I think we've got a busy night because I think Oliver King is going to be appearing after this to take on Jason Clark. As we I'll just look through the hands now very quickly. This is Bob's hand. It looks like he's on a red-white approach deck. I did see it online earlier this week, and Lorenzo there's on the more traditional energy deck. So certainly Bob's hand, something interesting to keep an eye on now. I'll hopefully be joining commentary later on. I better jump in the commentators thread just in case anybody comes. I'm just trying to tag the correct names here, just so that we give players the proper recognition. So, Lorenzo Somma. There we go. Just check the dashboard. We haven't come online yet. So you can see here that Lorenzo has a board state built up already. Bob's going to be leaning pretty heavily in this first match on approach to get him over the line, and I don't believe Lorenzo's deck, well, he's going to be able to draw cards of Chart of Course here, but I don't believe that it plays anything to interactive approach in the first game. There's the chart, so we'll see what he draws from this. Oh, Rekindling Phoenix is a good one here. We'll see what Bob can find. He's got some removal now and a braid. But if, I'm just going to bring up the scores. I'm sorry, the standings very quickly. This is a Eastern or Western Conference. Western, okay, same as me. So Bob's undefeated. He's won every single match of the season so far. Lorenzo sits 14 points back on 10. Lorenzo's struggling in Modern at the moment. He's only picked up 1 point from Modern. So Bob's cutting off the card draw there by abrading the glint sleeve siphoner. Sorry, let me just see what Lorenzo's on here. So Rekindling Phoenix is going to come down here. So Chandra though will stick around. And if both creatures hit Chandra, then she can't take down the Phoenix. Bob does have an interesting line here that he can take because he's got Scavenger Grounds in his hand. If I just bring up his hand again, sorry. He's got Scavenger Grounds, so he can actually exile the graveyard once the Phoenix goes in there to shut off that recursion of the Phoenix. Interesting Renewed Faith, so he's got a bit of cycling going on here. See what he can find with Chandra. Oh, okay, there's a nice play. He's plus Chandra for the mana, so he can play Approach. He's got the second one, so Chandra has to survive in order to win next turn, but she's not going to survive. He's going to die this turn, and he'll be on the lookout for one more land. So two chances to hit his one land drop. So he's committing to the board here, a Glory Bringer. So this is just a straight out race. If Bob can find his next land. For Lorenzo, he'll be thinking sideboard options early to try and stop that approach. He's going to take 8 here, so it's a 3-turn clock. So he's going to have 2 turns to find that land. Okay, so Bob's going to have this first match wrapped up now. Stone Quarry's going to come in tapped, but he's got the untapped plains for the next turn. Renewed Faith is going to buy him. Oh, he's going to cycle Renewed Faith. That'll get him 2 life. He must be looking for something specific here. Finds a Magma Spray, which is a bit underpowered for this matchup. Doesn't really matter though, unless Lorenzo has a counterspell or a duress that we would not be expecting. Bob's going to take the first game. Just update this standard. Not Tima, Sultai, I think it is Sultai. John Energy. Two, 3, 4. He's got 12, 13. That would put 14 damage on the board. Not really sure. A Braid or Harness Lightning can also take down one of the threats. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong hand here. So Bob just ran out his approach here. He's down to 7, so it's timely. And he'll take the first game of standard. We'll go to sideboarding. It'll be interesting to see what Lorenzo's going to bring in here. Looks like we've got a bit of action on the group server. 10 people on the server and another standard game going on. I think I saw 12 the other day. That would have been a record.
Hey Matt, are we watching Bob vs Lorenzo?
Yes, on the group server. I'm joined by Nathan Blewett now. Bob took down game 1 of standard, so they're sideboarding at the moment. Turn it down, please. Yeah. Yep, thank you. Yeah, I haven't put on the stream, I haven't put the text box down in the bottom yet with the matchup names. I wonder if I can do that live, actually. I could just do it through group chat as well, because I don't think we're going to get flooded with group chat.
You should be able to do it live as well. It's just adding to your overlay.
Yeah, I don't know have the font though.
Are you after the magic font?
Just some nice font that I can use. Like I'd want to play around and see what it looks like first. Okay, they're back now. So this is game 2. Bob's up the top this time. Well, you can see there are 2 Dream Stealers. Unfortunately, Lorenzo can't keep that hand. That hand is very slow but keepable. And he keeps, yeah. Bob on the other side. What's this? Azor's Gateway. Interesting. Chandra's Defeat. Yeah, Bob's just saying excellent work on the promo thing you did. Shout out here for those watching the stream. All of this is Nathan's work. I think I made the box for my webcam, but everything else he did. The stuff up the side, the chat box, the background. The background of the game is David Thomas's work. Yeah, this is kind of a... I'm not calling it a home brew from Bob, but because I've seen it online before, but it's not one that I've actually watched before.
So which one's Bob, sorry?
Bob's Giraffe, up the top.
Giraffe, yep.
He's the defending champ for the leagues.
Okay, cool.
He's won the league twice. We've had...
What is he playing? Is it just like an aggro Boris?
No, it's a control of approach of Second Son and Chandra.
Okay.
And Lorenzo down the bottom, he's got an Archer Razga. All this new stuff coming in. You can turn it up a bit. So what does this do? We'll just Azor's Gateway. Draw a card, then exile a card from your hand. If cards with 5 or more different converted costs are exiled, you gain 5 life. Untap and transform. So Azor's Gateway exiles Sweltering Sun, so it's 3. So he's got to get 5 different... He's got Chandra's Defeat as 1. Lorenzo's going to cycle there. Lorenzo's kept a very slow hand. I'm just keeping...
Yeah, you'll find that with the Azor's Gateway too, people don't use it to try and flip it. They're just using it as card advantage.
Oh, yeah, because it's kind of a looting... a way to loot. Yeah. Lorenzo, I'm looking out for what he could bring in to battle this approach, because I don't see anything in his hand at the moment. And I
He's
didn't.
just going to want to race him.
Yeah, he didn't have any answers in the first one, but. So you didn't end up going to look at the house?
Oh, no, I did. It's
Oh, that was,
only a block away.
that was quick, yeah. Well, there's this sideboard tech coming in. You don't see Chandra's Defeat too often, but when a 1-mana instant takes down your Planeswalker, that's pretty good value from Bob's side and pretty bad from Lorenzo's.
Yeah, you can't really call it a silly card when they do that.
He's still going to get his, because he had priority, he's going to get his Planeswalker. That's one thing that I notice a lot of people do that I really don't like with Chandra, is when you're tapped out and you plus her to reveal a card. I think particularly in that, like you see there, Negate got exiled. When you're looking for something very specific, there's always that risk that the card that gets exiled is the card that you want. Another, so we've got 2 and 3. Is the chances? Is this a may flip or is it a must flip? Oh yeah, it's not a may. You do flip it.
That's why you just keep aiming for the same kind of mana cost.
He's got 2 of them there at the moment. We're just looking at that's Lorenzo's hand on the stream. We'll just switch over to Bob, see what he's got going on. Angel of Sanctions. So it looks like he's got quite, and Cast Out, so he's got quite a few answers. This Silent Gravestone. Now we spoke about this afternoon. You had it in your sideboard.
Yep.
Why is this in there for? Like, what cards in Standard?
Is this after boards? We've already played the first game, haven't we?
Yes.
So what he's playing into is this being the, I'm assuming it's Energy Grixis.
Yes.
So it's just answering the Scarab God.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. You can see I think he might be going for it because he's got 3. 1, 2, 3 now. He's got a second Chandra's Defeat in hand. I suppose in the current meta, it's a pretty good card. 2, 4, 5. Lorenzo's a card short of being able to play Torrential Gearhulk, but you look at his grave, he's got nothing to actually get back for it. This time we're going to see a 4 or a 5. We're seeing a 5, so he only needs a 4 now. So I think Bob's clearly going for the flip here.
I'm curious as to what he's got running in his deck that he is trying to flip it.
He's got a Cast Out, so he can actually flip it next turn. We'll just look at
the flip ability is tap add X, where X is your life.
Add X mana, so he's going to be able to add 18 mana. Yeah, I don't know anything in Standard that can take advantage of 18 mana.
Tormentor Hailfire, Cut to Ribbons.
Yeah, cut.
Is the only 2 that I've seen try to abuse it, but I'm not sure how you'd abuse it in Boris.
You see here he's abrading with the energy trigger on the stack, so Lorenzo's not going to be able to make any Thopters. What is the play here? Oh, okay, so he's going to harness to get the 3 so he can get a Thopter out of this. Oh, they really want to fight over this Thopter. 3 spells to fight over a 1/1 Thopter here.
I really feel like the Chandra's Defeat was a bit of a waste.
Server admin has joined and started watching. I believe that's Will Escrow, but he's not involved in Magic at the moment, so I'm a bit surprised.
4 on the shore.
See if that's Will.
There's the approach.
So this is going to go 7 cards deep. So Azor's Gateway, I can't actually see the other side from here. He's going to cycle Sweltering Suns. Just bring up Bob's hand.
I suppose it does allow you to play Approach and then cycle whatever cards you need to, because you're going to have that much mana to just be able to keep cycling and then play Approach in the same turn.
Yeah, assuming you'd have enough cycle targets. So let me just, I'm just going to go and have a look at the other side of this card at a website. As well as Gateway.
Tap add X of any one colour to your mana pool where X is your life total.
Yeah, so it doesn't, yeah, that's exactly right. It doesn't do anything besides add a huge buff of mana. But and you have to specify the colour. It's flipped now so we can see. Any one colour. So 2, 4, 6, 7. Again for Lorenzo, we haven't seen any 2, 4, 6, 7. Bob's going to be able to cast Approach next turn. From Lorenzo we've seen it negate, and that's all at the moment. Oh, did Bob just cast it? Yeah, he did. Sorry, I was looking at the card on the website. So he's on a clock now. We'll just see what he cycled into. Oh, okay, so he's found the negate. So that's going to take care of the second Approach. And because of the colours that Bob is in, red, white, he's not going to be able to protect it at all. 22 white added to his... So yeah, he's just never going to need to tap his lands at all here. But he does have a threat on the board. As he goes for it immediately, but gets negated, and he's got a Gearhulk, so he's got Approach pretty well covered here. He's got a tap 5. Oh, okay, so that's a nice synergy with the 22 mana that he had. Can draw a card.
Got a lot of ways to use it, but
he's going to cycle a cast out. You can see he negated the Approach, and he's also got the Gearhulk, so, and he has a Vraska's Contempt to take down that Caracal. I think he's going to have to take a 7-point hit here, and then at the end step Vraska's Contempt that Caracal, because he needs to hold up. The Gearhulk's going to be like to bring back the negate. Just see what he drew for the turn. Harness Lightning. 2, 4, 6, 7. So he's a land short from being able to Harness Lightning and keep Gearhulk. See Bob's draw for the turn. Just a mountain. The Cat Legion comes in.
that Sanctum of the Sun's just going to keep adding more and more.
Yeah, and it's a handy synergy of Arch of Orozca, so he doesn't actually have to tap 5 to, yeah, looks nuts, 26. I mean, it's difficult to flip, so it's not really something that you can, or Chandra. It's not really something that you can, you know, abuse in Modern or anything like that. Because I'm thinking of something like Banefire, get a massive Banefire for 20. Maybe in EDH you could do it. He hit. So he's got the Vraska's Contempt for the Chandra, and he's got the Harness Lightning for the Caracal. So Lorenzo's got the bases covered here. He can fire those off now. It's Chandra's exiled. I'm just curious now how many approaches Xander has left momentarily. How many approaches Bob is playing. So
yeah, sorry about that. Next match was bugging again.
That's alright. So you can see he's got the second. He's got another approach. He's had one countered. He's going to cycle. Lorenzo's got this covered because he's got. There's another gateway. Lorenzo's got this approach covered because he's got the Gear Hulk that can get back to the gate in the graveyard. A lot of card draw from on Bob's side here. Now this is going to be interesting. I wonder if he's going to play the Chandra. Yeah, play the Chandra first. See if it can bait something out here. Because Vraska's Contempt might be a handy one to get back. Scavenger Grounds. That would have been a good card for him to play actually. He's going to go for it, but it's going to get negated. But you can see Bob's doing this now, so that if the Gear Hulk's there, then it has to come out.
As the control player, knowing you're playing into approach, you're going to want to be holding it up regardless. So even seeing a Chandra, you're not going to be like, oh, no, I better counter it.
And you can see Lorenzo's got the Vraska's Contempt in hand as well to deal with the Chandra. Yeah, as somebody that plays blue, primarily a blue player, I just playing a card like Approach, I just don't feel comfortable with not having access to blue to protect it.
I think that was the right play. He's eventually just going to be able to beat him down with lifelinkers.
Well, they don't have lifelink now, do they?
No, they still have lifelink.
They do. Okay.
They just don't have the +1/+1.
Approach is still on the stack, so and through all that, he actually has enough mana to play it. Not sure why he's doing this now. Maybe just a bit of deck filtering. So he's going to negate the approach, and but he's going to have to Vraska's Contempt in his own turn. Lorenzo's got to watch his life total as well. He's down to 11. It's still 6 turns with the 1/1s, but like another Caracal could really speed that up. I mean,
even just with Tortured Defiance pinging them for 2 damage.
He's got Tortured Defiance covered next turn with Vraska's Contempt. See what he draws for the turn. He draws his own Chandra. But he can't really... Oh, I suppose he can draw Chandra and then +2 for the reds. Yeah, and then use Vraska's Contempt that way. You can see Bob's out of cards, but does have multiple ways to draw cards.
Yeah, I think that was the right line.
Yeah, because I mean, for Bob when he's playing red white, he's not going to play around the counter spell. He's just going to jam it if he draws approach. So there's no point holding a card in your hand. Both players playing off the top of their deck now, but one of those players has a Chandra and the other one doesn't. But the other player has access to card draw, which the other one doesn't. Bob's going to potentially look through 3 cards a turn here with the filtering from the gateway and the draw.
Just going by top decks, it's got to have to go to GRAF.
Yeah, we'll see what Bob draws for the turn. Just a crappy magma spray. I don't think he wants that, so he'll. Or I think he wants. He can cycle to Renewed Faith here. Thought about tapping, but yeah, now he's going to tap again. 28 mana. Going to draw with Arch. He can still cycle Renewed Faith to find something else. A Braid. None of these are going to do it. Yeah, he's going to cycle Renewed Faith.
Last effort to dig.
Yeah, so you can see he's getting to look at 3 cards a turn. See what the cycle finds. I think there's a card printed in Color Dash, which is when you, because it's used in EDH, it lets you untap artifacts. Okay, that'll answer the Chandra. Lets you untap artifacts. It'll be pretty good to have that card and keep untapping Arch. Tap it.
Paradox Engine.
Yeah, that's the one.
Whenever you cast a spell, untap all non-land permanents.
Yeah, and just keep filtering. So Angel of Sanctions, and Angel's got Eternalized, so even if Lorenzo finds an answer for the Angel, Bob's got so much mana he can just bring it back straight away. So now the advantage bar swings heavily in... Advantage bar swings heavily in Bob's favour now. Lorenzo probably needs Vraska's Contempt to deal with that Angel. Look, I think he's got one in his graveyard, so yeah, he says things are not looking good for our hero. Vraska's Contempt would be good here, or a Torrential Gearhulk, because it will get back Chandra. That would work as well. That's very handy. Because the Glorybringer can exert on the Angel, but the problem is exerting on the Angel is just going to get it back again. Although, when he gets it back, he would embalm on the... he'd probably have to exile the Glorybringer, because otherwise the Glorybringer would just exert again and destroy the... Okay, so Chandra down, but the other problem here is he's only got 2 mana to do anything with whatever Chandra reveals. I think an Braid would be handy here. Yes. So this is what I was mentioning before. Glorybringer could have been his draw for the next turn. Now he's a Glorybringer down because it's exiled to Chandra.
Yep.
When if he +2/+2 he gets nothing, but he only has 2 mana up. So outside of a Braid, I can't think of anything for 2 mana he would have actually been interested in. And here goes Bob. We'll switch hands back to him. He's going to look at 3 cards again. Oh, Chandra's Defeat. How many of those is he... Is that the 3rd one we've seen?
He could be running a 4 of. It probably wouldn't be a bad move with the amount of Chandras and Glorybringers and Rekindling Phoenixes, and there's just so many targets in it.
Yeah, there's 2 of them in his graveyard, so that's the 3rd one that we've seen. So yeah, he's pretty big on that card this week. And I think he's got all the answers, because he's going to be able to eternalize the Angel to take down one of the threats, and then Chandra's defeat the other threat. Oliver Kings just sent me a message because he wants to play, and I said we're occupied, and he said there's a lot of Valentine's Day love going on tonight. People have their priorities straight. Yes, here he goes again with the arch.
I think he's bugging.
We're waiting for a Lorenzo. Okay, Lorenzo's rejoined. Finds the planes. Yeah, otherwise, again, as I always mention for the newer players and the newer people that might be watching, in that situation, we would probably have to make a call on that match rather than replay a second match.
Like board state and card scene at the moment, you'd have to go to Giraffe.
Yeah, I think if we had to make a call, I think Giraffe is. I don't see him losing from here. He's going to eternalize that Angel now. Angel of Sanctions to take down the Glorybringer. That'll be 5 power on the board. You can see in his hand he's got a Magma Sprain and a Braid, and Lorenzo's out of cards playing off the top of his deck. So down to 7. The Angel took the Glorybringer, so I think it's just a case of just so much life on Bob's side. Isn't a Braid that only does 3 damage? He wants to be doing 4. Would you be tempted to hit that Azor's Gateway with that?
Just to stop him from digging quite as much.
Yeah.
It's about all he can target unless he wants to drop one of the 1/1s.
Yeah, I don't think taking down a 1/1. I don't think taking down a 1/1's gonna help him win this match at all. He's still dead in 2 turns to the Angel and the other cat. You can see it's looking ominous now. He's dropped again. Just see how many games are actually going on at the moment. There's only one match going on. So he's going to braid now. He should have done this in his own turn when it was tapped out, because the thing's still going to be on the stack. So he's going to draw, just look at Bob's hand, sorry. Silent Gravestone. So he's brought those in, but we haven't seen any... Yeah, I just play it out anyway, just to be safe, just to lock out that option.
Well, you could play it and draw a card off it as well.
That's going to shut down the Gearhulker's way out as well, because the Vraska's Contempt is gone. That's a really cool card, especially in EDH, Sunbird's Invocation.
There are so many exiled cards right now.
There are 35 cards. Yeah, the Sunbird's Invocation goes awesome in the Dragon EDH deck. Okay, so Lorenzo's going to concede. So Bob's taken standard 2-0. We're just going to wait a few minutes while we restart the server. Is he restarting the server? I don't know. Boro and Eldrazi. I don't know who that is. Just update the score sheet. So Bob, this is round 3. Bob is still undefeated. He hasn't lost a match yet. So he keeps his run going.
It's good to see that it appeared to be a homebrew with the Boris control.
Yeah, Bob.
That actually seemed to compete well enough against what is one of the outstanding decks in the meta.
Yeah, Bob is. He joined us in season 2, so I've been watching him for quite a while now, and I don't think I've ever seen him play a net deck. He always brings something that he brews himself, and it always goes quite well. But Bob was actually, when we played SCG Philadelphia, Bob was our standard player, and he was far and away the best performing of the 3 of us. Looks like they're not going to restart the server. They're just going to go ahead and try with Modern. I think there is an issue here because Mr. Creek is showing his connection disconnected. He's changing computers. That might make it difficult to get back in to the second one. We do have our chat going now as well, so we're about to start Modern. Actually, Will, who just came in before...
I'm right here.
Oh, Will's right here. I was just going to give you a shout out. I thought you were doing your games night tonight, board game night, playing Dominion.
I am. But I figured I'd pop in real quick and take care of this.
Yep. Are you going to restart the server?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I noticed Lorenzo's name is still appearing there as disconnected. I think that usually prevents people from coming back.
It's no problem. I'm gonna go ahead and restart it, and update it. So that just might take a second. Let me do that now.
Yep. Yeah, we're just getting the server updated. What's the name of your YouTube channel?
It's Twitch. Happy Fun Time Live.
Happy Fun Time Live, and the game tonight is Dominion.
Yeah, my wife and I, we've been together for 15 years, so we're going to celebrate by playing Dominion on stream.
Yeah, it's
That's love.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, actually, I saw the other day Target had a buy two get one free on board games, so I was looking to pick up a few because we're starting to play a few more.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, like Kickstarter is a really good resource for it. You get the latest and greatest because a lot of board game design companies are going through Kickstarter to launch their newest projects because it's more budget friendly than just trying to do it themselves. Um, so Kickstarter is a great resource for it, and usually you get some exclusive stuff that you won't get otherwise when you go through Kickstarter.
Yeah, what was the? I've got one here. It's like is it boardgameprices.com or something?
Yeah, so board game prices. What I normally tell anybody is your best bet when dealing with board games is go through your local game store because supporting them is going to, I know it might cost more, but it's going to ensure that they can stay open and give you a place to play board games. But if you're just starting out and you want to boost your collection, boardgameprices.com, I think that's the name of it. It automatically goes through and shops all the sites and gives you the best current price on certain games at this point in time.
Yeah, my LGS is actually not too bad. You recommended that King Domino to me the other day. I picked that up to play with my daughter. It's $19, which looked like a pretty decent price. I've had a look at the game. I haven't played it yet, but it looks like
you haven't played it?
No, it looks like a pretty addictive game though.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good. And $19 is a really good price for it. I think when it came out, I paid probably $30 for it. So 19 is a good price.
Yeah, and also, and looking at their prices, because like we want to get Catan, they charge $40, which I think is recommended retail. And they have. I'm waiting for a sale as well because I want to pick up a Catan extension from my brother. And I was going to get Pandemic, the first one, whatever the first is. It Legacy? Is that the first?
It's just the first one's just Pandemic. Legacy Season 1 it's a game that Legacy means that you basically play it out. There's different scenarios that you play out, and after every scenario, if you die, it does something to change your character. So like if you guys don't pass the mission, your character might get nerfed in some way, or it might alter the entire world map based on what the disease does. So legacy games, the definition of a legacy game is essentially a campaign. It's a scenario-based campaign where you start the game fresh as a party, and you go through every scenario together. And at the end of it, whatever happens throughout the journey is unique to your experience.
Oh.
So it's like a hero's quest.
Kind of, yeah. It's kind of like Hero's Quest, but like the cool thing is like each module has like certain conditions you have to meet, and they throw different things at you. Like a disease might on turn 3 you might have to open like a sealed envelope that comes in the box, and it'll tell you that Portugal is gone, wiped off the face of the planet. And it's some cool stuff that you do with that.
And do you know a board game? I saw it. It's quite expensive. It's about $80 or $90, and I think it's like a zombie sort of one. And it has lots of little pieces that are shaped like the Hero Quest, how you get the figurines. It comes with the figurines, but it's to do with zombies.
Zombicide?
Yeah, Zombicide.
Ah, that might be the one I was looking at getting as well. Boardgameprices.com. Yeah, it's because when I was much younger and played board games, it was like Hasbro and Milton Bradley made everything. Now it seems like those companies, I don't even know if they exist anymore, but it seems like every board game is just put out by some different producer.
Yeah, I mean it's part of it's going the way of the video game situation right now. So a lot of larger companies are buying up rights, they're licensing, they're buying out the little guys. So there's just some crazy stuff going on within within the industry right now. And then you have a lot of guys that are starting out in Kickstarter that are, what's the term, catching fire, where they're just coming out at the right time, getting really lucky, and then a publisher will approach them right after they do that. Traditionally, the way that you got a board game published is you hit up all the trade shows, you came with your prototypes, you nudged in for a 15-minute sit-down session and tried to catch, whoever the recruiter was for the company, their eye with what you designed, and then you would sell it to them, and then they would publish it under their own name. Depending on your agreement, most of the time the designers of the games never got even acknowledged.
Oh, so where are you at with your game at the moment?
We are. I'm going to a conference in Baltimore on the 23rd of March, and it's the group is called Unpub, UNPUB, and it's a convention for unpublished game designers. So you basically get to sit down and play test your game with other designers, and they give you feedback based on like a design perspective.
So is your game finished, and you're just trying to find a publisher now? Is that where it's at?
Yes and no. We're close, but you know the other thing about game design is with anything else, like especially when you set your own pace with it. I can't like it's up to me when I feel like it's done, and for me it's not done yet. There's little things that I have to tweak, and then every time I go to one of these conventions, I play test it. I get feedback that sort of sits in my mind, and I'm like, oh, I guess I should change that. You know what I mean? It's not like
Yeah.
it's not very straightforward.
Yeah, I think I understand exactly what you're talking about.
So
it kind of reminds me when I used to study, and you have a deadline to submit the thesis.
I'm finishing this,
and you always want to tweak this, tweak that, change this, change that, and it's never satisfied.
Yep.
Yeah, still waiting to connect, so it's not quite up yet.
No, I have to. I had to. Every time I restart the server now, like I update it, I have to take out the stupid computer code because it crashes. If somebody tries to run a computer-based game, it'll crash it.
Night night, baby.
And I have to redo the welcome message every time, so I just finished that now. I am running the program, so in about a minute you guys will be good to go.
Great. Message.
Okay, she'll be up now.
So was it? Oh, yeah, it's up to version 4. It doesn't matter that I'm not on the latest one.
Sure.
Somebody beat me. Are you ready? Ready?
Oh yeah, no, I'm not.
He was in there fast. Diego. Oh, these guys are keen.
Yeah, they are. They know what they're doing.
But interestingly, like you see one's from Argentina, one's from Brazil. That was the case. The server seems to be pretty popular with South Americans.
Okay.
Okay, so the game is up. We're just waiting for Lorenzo now. I have no idea what Bob's playing in Modern or Legacy. Legacy, I hope it's reanimated
Janky.
so it's over quickly.
Probably something really janky. All right, I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thanks very much for that.
No problem.
Not sure if I want to keep seeing Reanimator.
No, I just mentioned Reanimator because the match will take about 5 minutes, and then I can go and hop into bed and watch some TV.
I went to spectate a game last night, and I was having problems with my X-Mage, and by the time I'd fixed them, I went back in, and they'd already finished the game 2-0.
Well, actually, having said that, Lorenzo, I believe, is a Legacy specialist, so he originally just joined the league because he only wanted to play Legacy, but so he picked up his Modern and Standard decks. So it'd be quite interesting to see what he plays. But he's currently on 10 points. He's picked up 5 points, and he's only picked up 1 point in Modern in the previous 2 weeks. So this is going to be a big one for him. He still hasn't rejoined the server.
We're still waiting on Creek, aren't we?
Yeah, that's Lorenzo Somma.
Yeah.
Just while you wait, I'm just going to quickly grab some water. Yeah, there's no sign of Lorenzo. I'll just see where he's at. Actually, Lorenzo, let me have a look. He's just sent me it. Okay, he's coming into the game now. I just remembered last time I recorded him, he's on, when I faced him round 1. Let me just check. Yeah, I faced him in round 1, and he was on, he plays that Painter's Servant deck in Legacy.
Painter's Servant, what's that?
Well, it's a combo deck where he uses an artifact, I can't remember the name, something stone, and what it does is you tap it and player reveals top card of his library, 2 cards of the library. If they're the same color, then do it again, and then if continue doing that. And so what you do is you play a card called Painter's Servant, and Painter's...
Oh, is it Grindstone?
Yeah, that's the one, yeah, Grindstone, yeah. So Painter's Servant, you just name a colour, so all cards in the deck are that colour, so then once you tap Grindstone, you basically mill them and win the game that way. Yeah, so I faced him, he was on that in round 1. But it's quite easy to like, it's kind of the deck's a bit of a... It gets you in the first game, but once you know what they're doing, then it's pretty difficult for that deck to win after that.
Yep.
So I think I just bought in Pithy Needles and named Grindstone, and on Reanimator I just played Iona and named Red. So that was one of those matches that was over in 5 minutes. Okay, Mr. Creek is finally back in, and sorry about that delay, but it looks like we're about to get going. The match has started. And we're on version 4 now, so I'd be curious to see if this has implemented the banned and restricted announcements yet.
Ooh, mill deck.
Ah, yeah, that's
Now
right.
we're talking.
Yeah, Lorenzo plays Mill, so he's still on the same deck, and Bob is on that one that we spoke about earlier today. Grixis Goryo's Vengeance, or Grixis as Foretold. This is going to be interesting. Who do you think's got this one?
I think the Reanimator. Like, you don't want to play Mill into Reanimator because you're just giving them ammunition.
Mm. Well,
So I feel like as soon as he figures out he's versing a Reanimator deck, he's going to be like second guessing every time he wants to do a spell. So whether or not he just holds back everything until he can just explode. But if it takes too long, then he's going to die anyway. So this is a really bad matchup for Mill.
Now you're going to see the thought scour. He's targeting Bob, so there's a Deceiver Exarch, so he's got a mishmash of everything. But one of the giveaways when you play this deck is when they dump a Goryo's Vengeance into the graveyard. That's when you know you're in big trouble. Because if they can afford to be throwing that card away, then they've got the pieces they require. Yeah, actually, because I played him with Green White Company, and the matchup's not too bad for me because the mill makes my Knight of the Reliquaries super huge really fast.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I have Leyline of the Sanctity in my sideboard, so if I can find a and I actually think I won my matches without the Leylines, but yeah, it was the Knights. They just get massive. They get to like 10/10s by turn 4.
Yeah, Mill's one of those things where it's always seemed to have like a niche following, but it's never really been a highly competitive deck. Like I think it's something that's really hard to make work and be consistent at the same time.
Yeah, you can see Bob's going to have his third land, so he can either play out his As Foretold, or he can flash back a Faithless Looting. Oh, he's got the Grizzlebrand there now, so he can actually go.
Yeah, you can just play the Goros, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Mill is... I put it in the category of those obnoxious decks that are just really annoying to play against, but not annoying on a Ensnaring Bridge Lantern Control level. Like, I still find it acceptable when I sit opposite and it's, oh, okay, you're on Mill. To me, it's a fair strategy and it's doing its thing and it's beatable, so I don't mind too much.
I had one in paper that used to be able to mill someone by turn 4.
Because you can see, I mean, the worrying thing here for Lorenzo is... I was just going to say, Bob's game plan with Grizzlebrand is to draw cards, but he doesn't really want to be drawing cards against the mill deck.
Just depends how confident he's going to be.
Yeah, likewise, he's going to be playing As Foretold and drawing cards with Ancestral Vision, which 9 times out of 10 is exactly what you want to do, but here you don't want to be doing that. But Living End's going to get him back another creature here. And he's going to get a Deceiver Exarch. He can Faithless Loot the Kiki Jiki and the Grizzlebrand. Okay, so he's actually got the combo next turn. You can see that now. Kiki Jiki and Deceiver Exarch are in the grave, so Bob's got the combo he can play it the next turn. I don't believe Lorenzo's got anything to stop it in his... Oh, Crypt Incursion. Oh, that's a handy pickup. Three life, so he's going to gain... This is actually very entertaining. You can see another Grizzlebrand and another Kiki Jiki. So the Grizzlebrand in play is going to be exiled, so Bob's going to lose 3 of his 4 Grizzlebrands here. I think he might concede once he sees his Crypt Incursion.
He won't need to though, because he can still swing with Grizzlebrand.
No, because the Crypt Incursion is going to exile all the creatures in his graveyard.
No, the Grizzlebrand on... Oh, sorry. How did he kill the one on board? I just
No, because Goryo's Vengeance exiles it at the end of the turn.
Oh, okay.
Assuming, of course... I mean, Lorenzo, I think, is smart enough to see the combo sitting in the graveyard. I don't know if he knows... Yeah, so he's going to go for it now, not muck around.
Still not sure if it's worth a concession though, because he could top deck something.
His only out now is going to be through the breach into Emrakul, but with 30 cards in hand, I don't know if he's got the time to do that. And also on top of that, that's not an auto concede either, because Lorenzo's at 28 life. Yeah, that was brutal. Because Living End was looking really good there. We just switch it back to Bob. Actually, I'll update the stream with the decks. Grixis is... I'll call it Grixis as Foretold. So he's going to play out the As Foretold, that he's going to get to draw cards for free here. You can see Talaria West he can transmute for an Ancestral Vision, which he doesn't obviously want to do. He can find the pieces for Emrakul next turn. A little laggy. Actually, Emrakul, if he has it in his deck, is a winner against this mill, because it's just going to shuffle his graveyard back. I would have actually played that second Ancestral Vision if I've got Emrakul in my deck. What did he discard? Discards As Foretold. Okay. Because it's sitting on the other side. In terms of mill, Lorenzo's actually drawing really poorly here.
Frank Sanity's being Mill's one glimmer of hope for competitive modern.
What's that? Oh,
Frank Sanity.
Yeah.
It's made all the Mill fanboys get really excited because hey, it can work now. But it's actually how mine used to be able to do turn 4, because if Frank Sanity turn 3 and then like double Thought Seize.
The other thing of Frayne Sanity is
not Thought Seize, sorry, Glimpse the Unthinkable.
Frayne Insanity gets around Leyline as well, because it doesn't target. I'm still looking here for a... I think if Bob doesn't have If he doesn't have Emrakul, then he's dead. If he has Emrakul, then he can't lose.
He's almost able to hardcast Kiki though.
But he doesn't have the second combo part. He's going to be dead next turn because Lorenzo's going to start awake for 13, yep. And then Frayne Sanity will do the other 13. So yeah, I think this will tell us right now. I mean, he's down to the bottom third of his deck, and we haven't seen an Emrakul. So I don't think he's got it, and I haven't seen any Through the Breach either. So I don't think it's that deck.
No, he's just going for the As Foretold into Living End. Instead of using the Cascade mechanics.
Yeah, so it looks like Lorenzo's going to take game 1 of Modern. Sideboarding, I believe he has a whole heap of surgical extractions he's probably going to bring in. Leyline of the Void. Particularly against this deck. Bob down to 19. That Frayne Sanity lets him draw the extra 2 cards. Got him just across the line into 20. Glimpse the Unthinkable, so he's got multiple ways to win this now. Mind Funeral, 3 different ways to win the match.
I'm happy to see that you went with the safe option though, not the Mind Funeral.
Well, he can do both. He can Mind Funeral as well. If for some reason this didn't work, but... You see, Bob's down to 9 cards. Frayne Sanity's going to put him down to minus whatever.
Yeah.
So Frayne Sanity's going to do the rest, and Lorenzo's going to take game 1 of Modern. As I mentioned, he's only picked up 1 point in Modern all season. So that's his second point. Unfortunately, that point came against me, but luckily I got 2. And so now Lorenzo's 1 win away from inflicting Bob's first loss of the season.
Has Bob been on this reanimator for Modern the whole time?
I'm not sure. This is the first time I've actually recorded him, but I know when we were preparing for SCG Philadelphia, he said he had this deck and I could play it if I wanted to.
Now that you've seen the deck, would you play it?
No, I mean, if I could play any deck I wanted to, it would be the Through the Breach Emrakul. Some sort of deck with Through the Breach and Emrakul. Unfortunately, I own 1 Emrakul and no Through the Breach. I
Yeah.
can't afford to buy the cards that I need. But if I could choose, it would be that with the Grizzlebrand and Goryo's Vengeance. I think that's a really good deck.
I had the Through the Breaches and then sold them just before the
Well,
the
I'm not.
reprints came out.
I'm not buying anything at the moment because I think Masters 25 is going to have some pretty good cards to buy, and I'm hoping there's going to be some Through the Breach and Goryo's Vengeance in there to make the deck far more accessible. But also because I've got an absolute ton of modern cards. Most of them I've never played with, so realistically, if I want to purchase something like that in the future, I'm going to sell cards that I have to use that money to buy, because otherwise, you know, I'm just adding to the pile, so to speak.
Yeah. I don't have a problem adding to my pile. I like collecting cards.
Yeah, I mean, because you always see these cards and think, yeah, that'd be a good card to have to add to the collection, but 4 Through the Breach, 4 Emeralds, and 4 Goryo's Vengeance would set me back. It would be... It'd be somewhere in the vicinity of $350 US.
Yeah. Yeah, when Emerald Eon's Torn came out the first time, I actually had a playset of them that I'd opened in boosters, so I built the deck that I was telling you about earlier with the Brilliant Ultimatum.
Yeah.
And I ended up selling that deck for quite a bit more than I spent on it.
Oh.
But looking back on it now, I wish I kind of kept the Emeralds, because they're so good in just about anything. Like, I've got my elf deck that I'd be able to throw them into now, but
yeah,
hindsight.
You can see Mesmeric Orb is here now. And the other thing that I don't like as well is Grixis colours have no way of dealing with enchantments. And I really don't like to play graveyard-dependent decks in Modern. And if I was going to play, I'd want to play something that could at least deal with Rest in Peace. Because even my green-white value deck gets really destroyed by Rest in Peace or any sort of graveyard hate, because it shuts down Knight of the Reliquary, shuts down Rumming Up Excavator, and that combo with Azusa, it can't work either.
Yeah, I hate one card answers to a whole deck.
Yeah. I don't mind one card answers to a whole deck, because if one card can shut down a whole deck, then that deck's probably trying to be too greedy.
No, that's like Stony Silence versus Infinity.
And I
like
that
Infinity.
because
I like what it does.
I think if you want to play Affinity and take advantage of the things that Affinity has to offer, then you should be prepared to deal with the downside as well. Because otherwise you start to get into mid-rangey decks, and then you go to the opposite extreme. If you want to take advantage of the power you get from control, then you have to be prepared to deal with the weaknesses of control and so on. And it's kind of like a sliding scale. Affinity's upside is huge, so if you're going to have something of a huge upside, you should have something of a huge downside as well.
So he's already got the combo in the graveyard now.
Yeah,
so
he can combo on turn 3, which is really cool with this deck. The other thing as well with regards to this graveyard hate is that, like we see here, Bob's got the win. Like, he's got the parts that he needs, so he needs his opponent to have the answers. Like you can see here from Lorenzo, he's bought an Ensnaring Bridge. I think he might... I don't think he's going to Crypt Incursion this turn, because he can see the combo there. Actually, no, this is a point of issue. Because can you see the cards in Lorenzo's hand?
Which one was Lorenzo again, sorry?
Lorenzo is Mr. Creek.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a very big issue with his hand.
What's the problem?
The problem is Jace the Mind Sculptor. And this is a big problem because this was discussed with the moderators, and we specifically said in the
What, so as the Mind Sculptor unbanning not happened for?
it's not allowed in the league this week. I put it in big writing at the top of the draw for the week, and so because the other issue here is that it's only been made legal with version 4, which the server's been updated. Like, some people are only running version 3.
So some people are able to run it, some aren't. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. For those watching who can't see the chat, we're just informing him that he can't play the card, but they can continue to play.
Yeah, I've sent him a PM, so rather than, you know, being really anal and saying he's lost or whatever else, he's just down a card. So if this goes to game 3, he'd have to sideboard that card out, and he can't play the cards, and it can't interact with the game at all.
He's looking like still having a fairly strong position, even if you don't include the Mind Sculptor.
Yeah, he's just discussing with me via private message currently, but I'll put a separate post in the group as well, just so it's clear.
I'm glad you mentioned it though, because I don't remember seeing anything about it, and I was going to play Jund.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at the post, X-Mage League, Week 3 fixtures, then I've got star, capital letters important, star. With the recent unbanning of Jason BBE, these will become legal on Monday, 2 days to go in a league week. so they're not actually legal in paper just yet. It's been decided that these cards are banned from Modern in week 3 and can be used from week 4 onwards. Okay, so we're back.
Not sure how many answers he's going to have if that ensnaring bridge hits board. Because you can play it this turn and it's not going to have an answer.
And in Grixis colours, I would be amazed if he brought in any sort of artifact. Oh no, he might have. If he knows the deck, he might have brought it in for Mesmeric Orb.
Question is whether or not you glimpse this turn just to put 20 cards into his graveyard, but then whatever happens, he's going to be getting something back. So that was really interesting for me, because if you weren't going to play some description of the mill, then why wouldn't you put out the bridge? For the purposes of ensnaring bridge, is Jace being counted as a card in hand?
Yeah, that's a that's a very good point. We'll probably have to get to that address that when we get to it. Yeah, Nick's watching in chat. He's just mentioning Jace the Mind Sculptor. I have put a thing in the group forum now, so hopefully that's not going to affect any other matches. But I suspect I'd be surprised if it became a factor in this match. Kiki Jiki is going to, if it combos, is going to.
You can stop the. You should be able to stop the combo though.
Yeah, he's got Crypt Incursion, but Crypt Incursion is an instant. Glimpse is a sorcery, so assuming he glimpses next turn, he needs to draw another. He needs to draw another source to be able to play Glimpse and keep up Crypt Incursion.
That's going to go off now anyway, isn't it? Because
yeah.
As Foretold into, can't he play Living End?
Yeah, I'm missing something here. Let me just bring up his hand. How did he play? He only had 2 lands. I'm only seeing 2 lands on board.
He played... I'm not sure. How do you float mana?
Oh, unless no, Mr. Mr. Creek, Lorenzo played Field of Ruin, so he must have floated the mana response, and then got his land, and then tapped that. So I'm a bit. You could see the Emrakul there. Emrakul's enabled him to shuffle his graveyard back in. But the problem here, well, Crypt Incursion is going to get Emrakul with the trigger on the stack. I was going to say Surgical was another option there, as we look at the 11 cards that go on Kiki Jiki, Negate, Engineer Explosives. So there's nothing much there. He still needs another piece. I was actually a bit surprised that Bob discarded the Emrakul when he had the combo in the graveyard there. Brain Sanity is going to put more in there. So, another 2 Kiki Jikis. So he's running 3 Kiki Jikis in this deck.
I'm not too familiar with it, but could you have Living Ended through As Foretold?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He had the combo sitting in the grave. He could have gone off with Living End, but the only thing is because I believe it might have been after his combat step. So you got to obviously do the combo before your step. Yep. You can see Bob's got 23 cards in his grave, but he doesn't care now because he's got Emrakul that's just going to keep cycling that back round. He doesn't know about the Crypt Incursion on the other side. So this is going to be a funny little game of cat and mouse.
That was delicious.
Oh, I'm glad you like it.
You're the best. That's just thing. I ate one already.
Only one.
I'll be back in just a sec.
Good girl.
I'm sleeping on the desk the whole day.
Okay, Daddy, put over there for you. Yeah, there's going to be a funny little game of cat and mouse here because Lorenzo's going to want to fire off that Crypt Incursion, but he's going to get the beatdowns from Goryo's Vengeance here, so it's kind of doesn't have much time. 3-turn clock. Okay, I'll be not too much longer. So we're up to 25 cards. He's got 1, 2, 3. 3 of his 4 Grizzlebrands are in the bin. I think Lorenzo, just to be safe, probably wants to find one more land here so that he can fire off 2 Crypt Incursions. Because he can't even tap out for the Ensnaring Bridge. Although Ensnaring Bridge is going to protect him against the Emrakul. And, okay, now this could be nice. We'll see if Bob's got a counter spell in his hand.
Glimpse is looking pretty good.
Yeah, but Bob actually has a counter spell. So Bob's going to be able to counter the Crypt Incursion here. I was just going to mention if Lorenzo runs, because Lorenzo knows about. Oh, he still hasn't found that Emrakul. So it looks like Bob's only running one. Oh no, there it is. There, the trigger's on the stack. So see if he fires the Crypt Incursion. Fires Crypt Incursion, but I think this is going to get countered with Izzet Charm. So I think Bob is very much in control of this one now. I was going to say, because Lorenzo has a pretty decent idea of what he's up against.
Yep. How did the Emrakul go on the stack? What did he play to do that?
He played Glimpse the Unthinkable, and so Emrakul was put into the grave. Trigger went on the stack.
Okay, yep.
He tried to crypt, and now he's getting countered a Visit Charm. So this is going to shuffle it back. But I was going to mention the because he's seen everything in Bob's deck, the Ensnaring Bridge actually shuts down the two biggest threats, which is Emrakul and Griselbrand. They can't attack through an Ensnaring Bridge.
Yep. The only other thing would be the Kiki combo, but if he can get his hand low enough, then it's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, so I think if he resolves that card, he's probably going to win. So we'll see what... Like, Bob's kind of...
Sorry, but then again, with the that brings us back to does the Jace Mind Sculptor count as being a card in hand?
Yeah, once we get to that, I think we're going to have to say that no, it's not a card in hand. So Bob can actually, if he wants to, can play Griselbrand here. He's got two Goryo's Vengeance in hand. He's actually got the combo. And he's got the Living End, so he can just win right now. He's got the Deceiver Exarch, and he's got the Kiki Jiki, and he's got the... and he's got the Living End to get it back. So yeah, he's going to go for combo. So Lorenzo's tapped out, so we're going to go to game 3 now.
That was good to watch.
So his two Deceiver Exarchs can just... I mean, if you wanted to get technical, you can just tap down the two blockers, but it doesn't really matter because he's got infinite Deceiver Exarchs. Just for a joke, he taps down his own stuff. And then untaps it. Oh, actually, no, I was going to say, Mesmeric Orb here would actually mill him. If
whenever a permanent becomes untapped.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be interesting.
So he's actually got to do the combo correctly. He's got to tap down the two blockers. Then he's got to create... 18 Exarchs.
Swing with Grizzle, no.
Now he's got to tap Kiki to get the Exarch, untap Kiki, and do that 18 times. Yeah, so he's got the win.
No, because he does it 18 times. Can only create 18 creatures, but only 16 of them can get through.
No, he can do it as many times as he wants. So this Deceiver Exarch is going to untap Kiki here, and he's just going to do it again and again and again. So he's got to create 20 of them. Do it 20 times. So Mesmeric Orb will mill him 20 times, but he's going to go down to 14 cards, which is enough. Yeah, we're going to game 3 here. Yep, so Lorenzo concedes. So we'll see the Jaces come out. One thing I'd be curious about is if that Jace was sideboard or main deck.
That is a thought.
Well, I just got a message. I don't think Tyler knew about that either, and I was scheduled to face him tomorrow. I'm playing him tomorrow night, so... I'm just gonna... What can I post in? Okay, they're back into it.
This is not a fantastic hand. He mulliganed.
Bob's got the engineered explosives and the as foretold, so he's going to draw. I think Lorenzo here is just... Well, he's kept that hand. He's got a Hedron Crab.
No, his first hand he had the Hedron, but he only had a... Ooh, no, he mulliganed it again, did he? No, he's played land, that's right. The first hand he had a mountain and the Hedron, but he didn't have any way of playing the Hedron, so he mulled down.
Oh, you mean a swamp? He had a swamp?
Oh yeah, it must have been a swamp, sorry. Yeah, I'm still looking at the wrong images for my lands.
Because of the lands, yeah. Actually, somebody posted a detailed response on how you actually fix that the other day. You have to go into where your images are stored, and apparently it's only a case of renaming a couple of files.
I'll have a look at that because it is annoying.
But the problem here for Lorenzo, you can see, he knows about that Emrakul, so he can't beat the deck unless he resolves a Crypt Incursion or if he has Surgical Extraction. So he's going to waste all this energy early just milling, and it's all going to be for nothing when Emrakul shuffles everything back in. So he kept a 1 land with a Hedron, 2 lands with a Hedron Crab. I would have almost been tempted to go to 5 there, looking for that piece. A second Hedron Crab.
No, that's the trigger.
That's the trigger, sorry, yeah. So he's got the Glimpse and he's got the Fraying Sanity. I think he'd be inclined to hope for the 3rd land to play the Sanity first here, wouldn't you? Bob's got all the pieces to get to as foretold on turn 3. This one targeting Bob, and there's Emrakul into the grave, so that's going to trigger. So it's a very tough position for Lorenzo to get out of here. Oh, no, he brought in the Surgical. Why didn't I see that in his hand? Oh, and he's got a Dispel to answer it. For some reason I couldn't see that Surgical. Okay, he draws a Field of Ruin, so he's got his 3rd for his Fraying Sanity now. But I think that Dispel for the Surgical might just be the backbreaker. Bob's going to get to resolve his As Foretold here.
Another thing you could do is just play the explosives on 3.
Yeah, I'd be tempted by that line actually. It is the only way in his deck that he has to get rid of 3 mana. He can't play the Spire Bluff here. Has to get a black source. Which it looks like he's going to do. So he can't actually play the explosives and crack it this turn, but he's got all the answers at the moment. That Dispel on Emrakul is huge. To protect Emrakul, sorry.
Plays the explosives.
So he's got 2 Kiki Jiki, so if he can find the... No, actually he can't, because Living End will get rid of the Exarch. He can't hardcast that Exarch. I think Is It Charm will enable him to put the Exarch into the grave. See what Lorenzo picked up here. Glimpse the Unthinkable and Visions of Beyond. Vision's not as good yet, but Glimpse will certainly do some work here. He's just in that awkward position where he's burning through these cards. He's got four Glimpse the Unthinkable in his deck, but if he uses one here, it's all going to be for nothing if he turns in Emrakul.
I wonder how many Emrakuls are actually in the deck.
I think surely it must only be one, because
You'd think you'd see a whole lot more of them.
yeah, we saw in that first game Bob got milled down to about 10 and we didn't see one, so it must have been late in the... No, actually Bob lost game 1 because he was milled, so he didn't actually have it in his deck. He must have brought it in from the sideboard.
It's a really interesting anti-mill card to have in sideboard.
Well, I mean, it can go with Goryo's Vengeance, because Goryo's can get it back with the trigger on the stack.
Yeah.
But if, I mean, yeah, I don't know why you just wouldn't have it main deck. I mean, Bob knows the deck far better than I do, so obviously there's something going on there, but I can't see what the reason would be. Are we going to see this Glimpse fired off here? Because it's going to put 20 cards in the graveyard. But you see, it's going to put Bob down to 16. But I think I'd be inclined to keep hold of it until I had an answer. Yeah, he's not going to fire it off. See what Bob can find for the turn. Kiki Jiki. Okay, so he's got the combo sitting in his... He's got the combo sitting in his thing now, so he just needs to get the Living End. He has to crack Engineered Explosives first, because otherwise he's just going to get rid of his As Foretold. I remember back in a couple of years back, the Goryo's Vengeance decks used to play some sort of combo where they could win with Grizzlebrand. They never had Emrakul. But I'm not sure what it was that they used to do. It involved Lotus Bloom, I'm pretty sure.
There's a red card that, what was it called? I've got it in a deck here somewhere. I'll just find it.
Okay, you can cast Visions now because there's more than 20 cards in the graveyard. See what's he found? Still hasn't found the card that he requires though.
Yeah, I can't find the card.
He's got another Frey Insanity, so he can play that out. But this is kind of just a jockey, and it's a race to see. First, Lorenzo needs to find something to answer that the Emrakul, and Bob is looking for his Frey Insanity. Bob is looking for the Living End to combo.
Yeah, it was a 6-cost card that allowed you to untap your stuff or untap a creature and have another attack phase. But you could cast it by removing 2 red cards from your hand.
Yeah, that's the one I remember now. So
I just can't remember what it's called. It was from Cold Snap originally. I think it got reprinted.
I played in my EDH deck. I've got an EDH because I'm building the Dinosaur EDH deck at the moment. And I played in there, but okay. There's a Living End just... Okay, so he's going to get Ancestral Visions. He's going to look at 4 cards here with the draw. Lorenzo tapped out. He needs a Living End in the next 4 cards and he wins. But I wonder how this deck matches up against Tron. Doesn't find it, but he's got another Ancestral Vision, so he's going to get another shot at it. I'm a little bit surprised by that, to be honest. But you can see the Dispel and the Negate in hand, so he's got this match well covered. So he's gone for the Faithless Looting here. He's Faithless Looted twice I'm not sure why he wouldn't fire off the As Foretold and then play the Ancestral Vision to look at 3.
Looting twice, he gets to look at 4 cards and pitch 2 to the grave.
But
Pitch 4 to the grave.
he doesn't need to pitch any to the grave. He's looking for. He's just looking for
Right.
1 card.
Could be digging for a Emrakul, just to shuffle him back.
Yeah, while he's tapped out. Yeah, that makes sense. But he does have Emrakul covered because Crypt Incursion's 3 mana. He's got the Dispel in hand. Lorenzo's going to need to have 2 cards to deal with that. And you can see currently Lorenzo has no cards to deal with that. There's Emrakul again, so 42 cards. He went all the way down to 6. 42 cards are going to get shuffled back. Now, we have seen at least 2 Crypt Incursions from Lorenzo. This is all on the instep. Fray Insanity is, I believe, has triggered already. So, we'll see what he's put back. Goryo's Vengeance. Okay, so the combo's off the table again. He can get the combo back with Izzet Charm by putting the Deceiver Exarch in the bin.
It's just a shame to see no counter magic in the mill deck. Like, I know you don't want to get rid of any of those mill pieces, but he's just being covered.
Bob's going to get to look at 6 cards next turn, so I think that surely 6 cards, because there's one living end, so he's got to find. He's got 3 copies in the last 32. He's going to look at 6, the 1 in 10, and he's going to look at a 5th of his deck. Well, maybe not, because Fray Insanity is going to trim that. Down to 19, so yeah, still none win in. So that's a good sign for Bob, is that none went in. What's not a good sign for Lorenzo is he still doesn't have an answer for it, like a Crypt Incursion. There's Emrakul in hand. That's, well, he's got Izzet Charm to get rid of it anyway. I think you As Foretold first and then cast Ancestral Vision. Yep. So this gives him the opportunity to
How's
look
he getting
at
rid of
3.
the Emrakul though?
Izzet Charm.
No, but how's he playing the Izzet Charm? Didn't you just say he was going to play 2 cards? Oh, sorry, yep.
Yeah, he's going to play Ancestral Vision now to look at 3. The only problem, does he have the combo though? I don't believe he does. Yeah, so he's going to look at 3, hopefully find it. Then he's going to, if he finds it, he's going to Izzet Charm and put not Emrakul, but Deceiver Exarch and something else into the graveyard. He still doesn't find it though. Crazy, down to 25 cards. He does know here though that Emrakul is not going to trigger a reshuffle, so I think he's in a pretty good spot with it in the hand. This is risky. I don't know if I like this play. See what he draws. Oh, he found it. There's Living End. Okay, so he's got the combo now. And he's got Dispel back up. Just did he just shuffle? He just put Emrakul. So he shuffled the combo away again.
That's okay.
No, he had the win.
I don't understand why he would do that.
Yeah, he's just shuffled away the win because he was specifically looking for Living End. I think that's a massive misplay from Bob.
Because the Exarch could have gone to the grave and then he could have living ended.
Yeah, he just had to put Exarch in anything else. So he needs Kiki Jiki back there now. But I mean, it's all pretty hopeless for Lorenzo because you can see Bob. He's got 2 negates and a dispel. So there's no way. There's no way that Emrakul's. Oh, okay. So Lorenzo's drawn the surgical extraction here. I think he needs one more. So he's definitely got 2 surgicals, but he needs a crypt incursion. So he needs 2 forms of graveyard hate. But he's going to go for it here. With 1 blue up. And he's probably just helped Bob win it, if anything. See if yeah, he has. He's put the Kiki Jiki into the grave. So Bob's going to be able to go off next turn. All of these cards, he's just hunting for the... He's hunting for the Emrakul, but he doesn't know it's... Oh, it is there. Okay, so now he's going to fire off the surgical. But unfortunately for him, Bob has Dispel back up. And this merry dance goes on.
You almost feel bad.
What would be funny? I mean, funny. What would be amusing in this is if Lorenzo, because we saw in that second game, Lorenzo had a creature whose power and toughness was equal to the cards in the opponent's graveyard. So Bob's down to 10 life. Lorenzo could actually kill him with a creature. But unfortunately, the other thing for Lorenzo, he's down to a land in hand. And just like that, 29 cards into the grave, including the combo. So does Bob see it this time? He's got the combo. He's got the win. Can he see it? Living End sitting right there. Please cast and take us to Legacy. Oh, okay. No, sorry. Apologies to Bob. The reason he didn't play Living End last time is you can only play as Foretold once per turn. And he
you already hit the Ancestral.
He used it for the Ancestral Vision. Okay, that's why he didn't do it. Yeah, so my apologies there. And Bob's going to take down Modern 2-1 and remain undefeated. So Lorenzo's going to have one last chance in Legacy to inflict Bob's first loss. We'll see if he's still on the Painter's Servant. One sort of interesting thing of Lorenzo is he sticks to the same deck. So he's been on that mill deck for quite some time now.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, it would have worked very consistently had he not had the Emrakul.
Yeah, yeah.
He would have had those games in the bag.
The worst thing is he had the answers for the Emrakul, but unfortunately, Bob had the answers for the answers. So Bob's going to be on the... this is Legacy now. He's on the top of the screen. And he's still on his Painter's Servant deck. We'll see what Bob's got. Oh, that's right. Bob plays some quirky homebrew and Legacy as well. I think both of these matches should be quite quick. Out comes Painter's Servant. So you play that turn 1, your opponent knows exactly what's going on, I think, in Legacy. He just has to find the combo piece. What's it called? The something stone. Meek stone or...
Ugh, that's a lot of ramp. In Bob's.
Yeah, he has his win con there, the Ugin, but unfortunately for him, I mean, Ugin can plus to get the Painter's Servant, but the key pieces are colourless. You can see Pyroblast in the main deck there for Lorenzo. That's probably going to come out pretty quick, smart sideboard. I don't know if
He can trade it into Monolith, but then he's sitting there with nothing.
Chalice for 1. I don't know how many targets it what's the artifact he's looking for? What's Lorenzo looking for?
I'm not sure if it's Grindstone. Is it Grindstone?
Grindstone, that's it, yeah. Do you know the mana cost of
Isn't that a
Grindstone?
2-cost?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Let me just bring that up. And then I believe it costs 4 to activate. Oh no, Grindstone is 1 mana. That could just be game straight up right there.
Yeah, but he countered it.
So what did I miss there? Oh, because Painter's Servant makes everything blue. Yeah, very nice play there from...
Yeah, so countered it with the blue.
Yeah, brilliant play from Mr. Creek, Lorenzo. I was thinking, why is that Pyroblast sitting in his hand? Makes perfect sense. So it's going to search for a creature card, which he doesn't need. He needs the other piece.
I like the Recruiter. That's cool. Just plays as a fetch for the Servant.
Yeah, he's all in on this combo. Yeah, I don't know how Bob's going to go with this. And finds Magus of the Moon. I don't know how Bob's going to go with this game 1. But at the same time, I don't know if Bob's deck is going to be fast enough. Yeah, so here's Monolith into Monolith. You can actually play Trinisphere if he wants. So the Monolith is not going to untap. He's going to have access to 6 mana next turn, which he could play the Inbringer, but he's going to go Trinisphere instead. I don't think Lorenzo really cares because he's up to 3 mana here. And Magus of the Moon is probably going to get dropped.
drawing into a lot of threats, but he can't play any of them.
Yeah, City of Traders shut down now. Relic no good in this match, so it's probably going to go out. It's pretty soon. Yeah, Ulamog can't untap those. What's he going to find this time with the Recruiter? He's going to be hitting for 2, 3, 4. So 5 a turn next. Mages of the Moon, they're just super handy to prevent him losing the City of Traders, so that the Ancient Tomb gets all the work done early. Goblin Welder. So 2, 3, 4 coming across, drop Bob to 13. I'm not really sure. Again, I'm not a legacy expert, but I'm struggling to think what Bob can bring in here to after sideboard to deal with this. Pithy Needles if he's got them. But being a colourless deck.
As long as he's not holding a counterspell, any kind of creature removal could handle it.
But what creature removal does Legacy play in colourless though? I think he might have been leaning on that Ugin to do the work.
Mm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So not quite lethal next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so there's a roadblock. And if this goes unchecked, which I think it's going to start picking off those 1/1s. And drawing Bob cards. Ooh.
No, he's got to keep on tapping his monoliths to do it though.
No, because Endbringer can just tap and do 1 damage to target creature. But I think
No, for the draw card ability.
Oh yeah,
in colorless. Yeah.
I think he's going to ambush him here though. He's going to, yeah, I'd swing all the 1/1s and then get Chandra to finish that Endbringer. Is Painter's Servant an artifact? Yes, it is. So he can get it back with Goblin Welder. Down to 6. Actually, he might not even need to minus Chandra if he doesn't want to. He could probably plus Chandra here. That would give Bob 2 turns. No, actually, if he minuses Chandra, then Bob's just dead on board next turn.
It's funny to see the Painted Servant deck not actually need to do its thing. It's just defeated his lands by having the Magus out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Bob's 1 short here. Can you untap the Monolith? 3. Did I get him 3? Yeah, I think he's just dead. That's it. We're going to go to game 2. Just make sure. Sorry, you see what he drew for the turn. Yep. So game 2 of Legacy, and again, just like in Modern, Lorenzo takes game 1. Untap the Monolith. Yeah, I think his math is off by a point here. There's no target artifact. Oh, okay, can get back the Chalice. Yep. Okay, so game 1 goes to Lorenzo. I'm going to move to sideboarding. I'd be curious to see what Bob's going to bring in from sideboard here.
Yeah, it needs to be able to answer that Painter. not hugely familiar with the Eldrazi legacy stuff. Do they still run stones?
Stones? What's that?
Oblivion Stone.
No, I've never seen that in Legacy. And Bob's build, I'm not particularly familiar with, but yeah, I'm struggling to think what he can bring in. He's colorless. There is that card that was from Oath of the Gatewatch that is -3/-3 to a creature. I don't know if he would have that in his sideboard though. I suspect his best weapon here is probably Pithy Needles, which I'd say he'd have 1 or 2 of.
Does Dismember see Legacy play?
Yeah, that Dismember could be another one. But you can see there in that match he was relying heavily. Okay, they're back now. He was relying heavily on his mana base, and we didn't see Blood Moon from Lorenzo. Lorenzo's at the top this time. He's got a Thought Knots here. I think countering that Chalice was very important as well. Okay, Lorenzo's got turn 1 Blood Moon here. So no Goblin Welders. Three Spirit Guides in the opening hand. That's the dream draw from in Modern, a turn 1 Blood Moon.
Especially in this matchup.
Yeah, Bob just says bath.
There we go.
Because that's going to shut down his the Monolith. Oh, okay, he's got the Pithy Needle. I'd be interested to see
whether or not he keeps playing.
It'll tell us if he knows the deck here. If he's not going to play it, actually. Going to wait and see.
Couldn't you just play it targeting the Painter?
He can't target because Painter's not not an activated ability that you're trying to stop. The activated ability is on the Grindstone.
Yep.
So he might not be familiar with, but you can see he's going to have 6 mana next turn. So I don't think he wants to. I don't think he wants to use that Monolith anytime soon. He'd be saving it for Ugin. He could actually, he's 2 turns away from Ugin if he can find another Monolith.
Now that he's just used that fetch to the Thought Knot, so he can come out to answer the whatever he's just got.
Well, that's nice. Manic Vandal is gonna. Yeah, I think revealing the Manic Vandal is going to force him to play the Thought Knot. I don't think he wanted to play the Thought Knot this turn. So it's going to take the Manic Vandal. I actually think Bob's starting to look in pretty good shape here. I think he's going to beat a turn 1 Blood Moon. Lorenzo does have another Imperial Recruiter, so if he's got another Manic Vandal, he can go and get it. Oh, there's the first piece. Maybe he goes and gets the Painter's Servant. Let's see. No, he's got another Manic Vandal, so he's determined to keep him off that mana.
Well, he needs to get rid of the Chalice so that he can play his Grindstone.
Oh, yes, of course, yeah. I don't think Trinisphere really matters at the moment with that Chalice out. I probably would have used that mana to untap the Monolith.
It's anything less than 3, so it does slow him down a bit.
if he untapped a Monolith, and then if he hits a land next turn, he could play Ugin. Oh, targeting Chalice, yep. Is he going to drop the... No, he's not going to go for it this turn. Voltaic Key, that's something that you don't see too often, but obviously makes sense. That's Draft Chaff from Draft Chaff from Kaladesh block. It is a cheaper way to untap that Monolith.
It's like any card. Every card's got something it can do.
Yeah, that's true.
In the right situation, a lot of cards look terrible, and a lot of cards look fantastic.
So next turn he's going to
Key by itself is bad.
3, 6. He's got 9 mana next turn on the board, so... Well, I mean, he's got more than that if he wanted. Now this is going to be interesting.
He can tap for 7, pay 1, untap, tap again for 10. So he can play an Ulamog if he gets one.
See what he names here.
Does he know the deck?
Yeah.
Drum roll.
I think if he names the Grindstone, we just... Goblin Welder. Oh. This is a fringe deck. I think he's got to be beaten once with this deck to see what it's doing. But it's not going to matter anyway because Ugin's going to wipe that board next turn.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Ugin and then a concession. Do you minus the Chandra to kill the Thought Knot?
I would
and
just
then swing
get
it
the
for damage?
card draw.
Yeah.
I mean, he could run the Grindstone out here, and he would still beat...
The Trinisphere, he still can't run the Grindstone.
Oh, yeah,
can he?
of course, yeah.
Both players on 12.
I'm putting in the YouTube info. I don't even know what to call Bob's deck. I'll call it Eldrazi Monoliths.
I always call it just Eldrazi Tron for Legacy, but it doesn't play the Tron lands. It's just playing better lands.
Yeah, in the what was I going to say again? In the SCG Teams event, I think it was Philadelphia actually. One of the top 8 decks played the post lands in Legacy, which was quite interesting. Hold on, what did I miss there? Why did he not play Ugin? What did Bob do? Did Bob run out of the second Trinisphere?
Yeah.
Why did he not play Ugin on that turn?
I have no idea.
Okay, he's going to try and hardcast Ugin with the 3 from the Monolith and then 5 from the lands. Oh, committing big time to the board now.
It's just going to make Ugin all the more satisfying.
Yeah, if he actually drew, if he drew a Painter's Servant there, it would have been really interesting because Painter's Servant would be colorless, so Ugin couldn't get it. It would have forced him to tick up rather than tick down. But unfortunately, Ugin I think is just going to tick down for 4 here. wipe everything. Oh, he's got 2 Ugins.
Well, as it stands, if you top deck a painter, he's still got the combo.
But he'd need to take 3 to pay for it, and then he needs 4 for the grindstone. 3 for the grindstone. So he actually needs a land as well. So he shouldn't have run out that Simian Spirit Guide.
Is that a concession?
Yeah, so it looks like Bob's going to win through a turn 1 Blood Moon.
No, he hasn't conceded, so he's still confident.
Well, he can get the Painter's Servant here. Yeah. He's got the win next turn.
No, because he still needs to be able to play. The painter will cost 3 to play.
Oh, 3. Yeah, I keep forgetting about the... Oh, don't run it out. Why is he running it out?
He's trying to, it's not going to work.
Yeah, it's not going to work. It's good for him. Huh?
How? What?
Why did that work? And he didn't even tap mana for that. What's going on here?
Yeah, that's... That is an interesting bug.
Yeah. I don't know how he could even play that.
And this is another thing that should cost 3.
Yeah, so Trinisphere's not working.
I don't know why he's just tried to run Ratchet Bomb out after we discovered this bug.
Yeah, yeah. He says, I meant to not cast it till next turn, but why did he then go ahead and cast the Ratchet Bomb after we'd just been talking about Trinisphere? I think what we might have to do...
No, they've come to a gentleman's agreement about it, but the Ratchet Bomb's still silly and shouldn't be there. So all he needs to do is top deck a land.
Yeah, if he
And then he
doesn't
can activate the
top
grindstone.
deck a name, land, I think he's dead. No, he didn't. Oh no, sorry, he did.
How though? It's a 2 cost, which meant it should have been 3.
No, because there's
Oh, there was floating. Okay.
Ancient Tomb. Yeah, so I think he's just straight up dead if he doesn't top deck a land here anyway. If he does top deck a land, then he wins.
Well, the tomb, no, because the tomb can tap. Because you got the four mountains in the
actually,
tomb.
yeah.
So he's actually got it. Yeah.
Yeah, Bob's actually dead. Bob needs to... Bob needed to get a pity needle there.
He can kill the painter though.
No, he can't because we're playing as if Painter is not on the board. Yes, so this one's actually over. Lorenzo's going to win Legacy 2-0. So just on the stream, this is timed 2 hours 32 minutes. So I'll just, rather than having to type out a massive explanation to either the player, I'll tell them to go to 2 hours 32 minutes. Lorenzo has enough mana for the next turn to be able to cast Painter's Servant and activate Grindstone. So the only way for Bob to win was to stop the Grindstone or interact with Painter's Servant when it came down, and because of the cards that he drew, he could not do either. So Lorenzo is going to win Legacy 2-0. And with that, that's going to be Bob's first loss in the league. He sits on top with 32 points, but Lorenzo goes up to 4th. Yep, and that's the win. He will mill Bob because he still has 4 mana, so he's got 1 left over. Even if he took the 2 from Ancient Tomb, he would still drop to 2, so he's safe. Yeah, so he mills him and wins 2-0 because upkeep next turn, obviously Bob can't draw a card, and he takes Legacy.
It's a scary deck to watch when it works.
Yeah. And I think one of the powerful things of Bob's deck with colorless is you have access to huge mana, but the downside is you have limited removal.
Mm. Draws a card and dies. Well, thanks for that, Matt.
Yep, I'm off to bed. Thank you for joining me on the stream.
Just let me know when you're playing your game.
Yeah, I'm playing mine tomorrow, I think about 8 o'clock, so 2.5 hours before the time now.
2.5 hours before now?
Yep.
Yeah, I should be home. Cool.
Right, great. I'll see you then.
Right, catch up.
Yeah, thanks for watching the stream, everybody else.